Okay, here's your lesson for your final term lesson, lesson 4 in Unit 3. So in this lesson, we're looking at two different kinds of factoring when common factoring is not possible. So remember, when you look at an equation, the first thing you want to look at is to see if you can common factor it. Is there a common factor to both terms? In this case, there is not. But in this case, we have a special type of factoring called a difference of squares. And what that means is we have two different terms. We're subtracting one term from the other term, and each of those terms is a square term, meaning it has a square root. Okay, so if I look at these two terms, I know that this is a difference of squares because the square root of 9 is 3 and the square root of 16 is 4. So I'm going to factor it by, first of all, I'm going to set up my double brackets, and I'm going to look at my first term first. Okay, so I know the square root of that is 3. So I'm going to put 3 at the beginning of each bracket, and then I also have an x squared. So I'm going to put x at the beginning of each bracket. So remember our expanding out before when we did FOIL, 3x times 3x the first time times the first term. If I multiplied those two terms together, 3x times 3x, it would give me 9x squared, right? Okay, so then I do my second, I look at my second term, and the square root of that is 4. With a difference of squares, we're going to put a plus sign on one and a negative sign on the other. That's all there is to it. Pretty simple to factor a difference of squares. And then the second type of factoring we're looking at is one that has three terms. So here's the second question in your assignment. Okay, so I look at this, I can't common factor it, I can't do difference of squares, but I can do a different type of factoring. In this type of factoring, again, I'm going to have two sets of brackets. The first term is going to be q in each of those brackets, because if I multiplied FOIL the first time times the first term, it would give me q squared. And then I need to figure out for my second term in each bracket a number that's going to multiply together to give me negative 18 and add together to give me positive 7. Okay, so I look at my different numbers that multiply. 6 times 3, well, no, that doesn't add together to give me 7. 18 times 1, no, that doesn't add together to give me 7. 9 times 2, 9 minus 2 will give me 7. And I have a negative sign on the 18, so I know, remember, that a positive times a negative will give you a negative. A positive plus a positive will give you a positive, and a negative plus a negative will give you a positive. So in this case, I need to have a negative sign. So I know that I need to have one positive term and one negative term to give me negative 18. So if I do plus 9 minus 2, positive 9 minus 2 is going to give me 7. So two numbers multiplied together that will give me negative 18 are positive 9 and negative 2. And then if I add those two numbers together, positive plus 9 minus 2, that's going to give me 7. So that's how I factor that question.